So we completed a quick review of how best to utilize that care gap closure protocol document. That'll be a really big resource for you. And in further videos, as we show specific examples of how to complete care gaps, there'll be verbal instruction on when to look at that document and how it will help you. So we quickly are going to cover sort of how to get going and how to set up your homepage. So this part will be covered again in a separate video called Schedule and Exam/Intake View, but I quickly wanted to go over what your view will look like and how to set up your schedule. So when you log into Athena, you're always going to have this view. If you already work for us, you'll be familiar with this because you will have seen it in the migrant project. This is your Athena home page. It's going to have your schedule in the middle here, which is just where I'm moving my mouse, and our lab results section for on-demand will be on the left. So let's set up the schedule for on-demand so you know how to do that in the future. And when you start seeing patients, you'll already have exposure to it, and you could always refer back to this video if you need to. So the way you would add patients to your schedule for a specific program is you would use the plus button in each section. You're going to notice that as you go through this training, that pretty much anytime you want to add something in Athena, whether that be an allergy, a medication, a problem, a diagnosis, an order, you're always just going to use the plus button in that section and type in what you're looking for. So in this particular case, you'll hit the plus button on the schedule section, which will bring up different options for providers or departments. We're not worried about the providers themselves. You don't have to choose yourself. We're really only worried about the departments. So to get to the areas that you need and the departments you've been given access to, instead of typing in the words on demand, I would like you to just type in the word on, O-N. When you do that, it's going to bring up all the different options for on demand. You'll click this arrow to expand it a little bit further. And so on my view, I'm going to have a few more than you likely will because I have the Tennessee on-demand market here. I have the Michigan market on here. So you'll likely only be setting it up for the particular market that you're working in. For most of our new folks, that will be in New York and New Jersey. So for our New York and New Jersey folks, what you're going to do is choose 5 different departments. I'm not actually going to click on them now, because if I do, the patient's name will pop up on the schedule, and I don't want to have any personal health information be exposed on video that we're passing around for orientation. So just pretend I'm clicking on these. You will choose DocGo On-Demand New Jersey MD1, DocGo On-Demand New Jersey Mobile Urgent Care, DocGo On-Demand New York MD1, DocGo On-Demand New York Merlin, and DocGo On-Demand New York Mobile Urgent Care. If you choose those 5 departments, you will see all the patients that are scheduled on any given day for our New York, New Jersey market. So again, I won't click those now, but when you're setting it up, all you would have to do is click and the process would be completed. You would come off this screen and your schedule where I'm moving my mouse would be filled with patients. This will be explained again in a further video, but when you're looking at the patients, you can of course see the time of their appointment, their name, this patient is named DocGo, their age and date of birth, and the provider that is assigned to them. In this case, it's me. There may not always be a provider assigned. They may just be on the schedule, and the first provider that's available on a given shift will just open the chart and start seeing the patient. And then further, you'll be able to see what they're there for. So we mostly do care gaps on our program. In this particular example, I typed in a depression screening. So that's a type of care gap that we do. So you'll know before you even enter the patient's chart what they're there to have completed. You don't ever have to decide yourself what care gaps the patient is due for. You're always told. So there's nothing to think about on that end. This may say different things like annual wellness visit, hypertensive screening, statin use for person with diabetes. It will tell you specifically in this section what care gap you're going to need to complete. And there will be a further video on combination care gaps, but oftentimes multiple care gaps are completed in one visit, which is not difficult to do. but we'll reach that when we get there. So that's setting up your schedule. And then the second piece to get you fully set up is to set up your lab inbox. So the way that labs work on demand is that we don't have the providers who order a lab maintain responsibility for the results of that lab. The reason being is that if you are working on Monday and you order a CBC for a patient and it comes back on Tuesday, but you're not working again until the next week, obviously we don't want the patient to have to wait that time period. And so how our program works is that whenever you are on shift for the day, you are responsible for working through the lab inbox and calling patients and discussing results with them. So it just falls to the provider who's on shift on any given day. So to set up your lab inbox, it's going to be very, very similar to your schedule setup. You will simply hit the plus button on here. This will bring up all the different departments. I already have mine chosen, but again, just like on schedule, you would type in the word on, and you would choose the same 5 departments you chose for your schedule. New Jersey MD1, New York MD1, New York Merlin, New Jersey Mobile Urgent Care, and New York Mobile Urgent Care. Once you click those, it's automatically added. And then the last piece that you need to do is go a little bit over to the right to this practice roles section, and you're going to choose the lab results option. If you don't see that right away, just make sure you click on this little arrow on the side, which will display all the different options, and you'll only choose lab results. Once you do that, you'll have access to the lab inbox and you could see all the results as they come in for our patients. So that's an overview on the schedule, what it would look like, what our lab result inbox would look like, and how to set them up. So you can refer to this in the future when you actually start seeing patients so that you're set up and ready to go when that day comes.